Hello, everybody. Welcome to PummelCast. I'm Sean.
This is Peter.
This is battle-hardened Dallas winner,
Woo!
Peter. As you guys know, we started out with the last week's episode where we were previewing the battle-hardened.
Yep.
And Peter won the whole thing.
I did. It's crazy. It was fun. We haven't gone to a battle-hardened near say for Flesh and Blood yet. That wasn't at like a major event, right?
Yeah.
Like we've obviously gone if we were going to a calling, if we were going to a pro tour or a nationals, and there was a battle hardened and we weren't doing anything on the Sunday. We'd be playing it, but we didn't travel specifically just for battle hardened yet, and so this one was great. You know, being on in Vegas, it's kind of hard to travel all the way to the East Coast to just play battle hardened. Like the investment of like a $300 flight and like all of this and all of that, like. Just the EVs that going to be around there, like the amount of money you have to spend, right? Yeah. I wish I had that money to spend around. Like,
yeah, I wish I had the money I had to go to this Columbus battle hardened.
Oh my!
Realm games. I just want to go drink with everybody afterwards. To be honest,
Michael Fang was talking to us about the Columbus one, and I really want to go. I gotta look into more flights more recently, but man, it's just it's too close to Worlds, and I still need to pay for my Worlds trip. But first time we went to a battle hardened, it's in Dallas. Flights were really good. You know, the stay was pretty cheap too, and it was great. So we were like, fuck it, let's go to the battle hardened, and that's gonna be where we're gonna go. We were there for the calling.
We were there for the calling last year, yes.
Which actually was one of my favorite callings. It was
the Arya Sealed.
It was Arya Sealed and then it's a draft. I remember in that one I made top 64 that it was on day one.
Oh, wait. I'm going to interrupt you now.
Yes.
I just want to say, if you go check out the LSS, we're going to get your opinions on this. The LSS article where they describe Peter. It's kind of a diss, bro. They're like, this man is a try-hard. He's finally won, bro. You know, that's how I seen it. So if anyone in LSS is watching, man, like it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Let me read it. Okay,
it's so bad. I just want to say, if you guys are here, please like and subscribe if you like our content.
Yeah.
And let's get into the LSS statement because I thought this was great.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do so well.
That's an interesting.
Getting a little riff on you felt good, right?
That's an interesting take actually, because I tweeted about it actually. Yeah. So you were like, this is like a diss, but like for me, I tweeted about this and I was just like, I was really like grateful for like all the things that like I've gone to and stuff like that. But like now you're saying that and I'm like, oh wait. So let me read this for everybody. If you obviously read the article on the LSS page going over it, but it was talking about everybody that was in top 8, like what their accomplishment were, like callings they've been to, maybe pro tours, nationals, like there before their top 8 experience. And so I'm obviously the last one because I won.
He won.
It says finally we have Peter Budensick, who competed at both pro tours, both U.S. national championships, the calling events in Charlotte, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Las Vegas, and Battle Hardened, New Jersey. This is the first time he's made it into a top 8 of a premier level event, previously winning road to national events with Lexi and Katsu. I would like to also add that I won, like, obviously ProQuest with Chain, and like, and there's more than just like that, but finally top 8ing an event. I read that. It's like I read that. I was like, oh my god, this is so sweet. Like the amount of events that I have been to in this game is actually a lot, right? Yeah. We were really grinding. We're still grinding, right? Yeah. And it's very enjoyable. And so I read that article and I took it as, oh man, that's so cool that they put all these things in. Because like all these other people would be like, oh, maybe like one US and like a calling, or like they went to another battle, like for Brody's, like won a battle hardened, and like they said he like top 8'd like U.S. nationals like recently and stuff. But that was like it. It was like 2 sentences, and then mine was just like 30 things, and I was just like, it was kind of cool.
I said mine when I win is gonna sound like an obituary because I go to all these events. It's so bad, bro. Well, that's why I took it as a diss. I was like, man, if I win, dude, this is gonna be bad for me.
Well, that's why I didn't like. I thought it was really nice because it was just like, yeah, man, it represents like how much time and effort that we put into it, and then it's like, damn, man, like they finally got there.
Yeah, I do understand their sentiment.
Yeah,
I don't think they're putting it out there as an actual diss, but the way I read it was like, man, Peter, bro, they're like throwing you under the bus. Like, this man finally had some success. Hey, which is not true because you're a successful player, and I look up to your. I mean, I tell you all the time, like I try to emulate the things. We have, Wesley, the rare hunter, was on our first episode.
Yeah.
We have other guys in the community that do very well, and I look up to that. And I'm a pretty good player myself, but I want to raise my level. So when I see them say it like that, I'm like, man, I'm looking at the things that you've been to. I was like, I was at that. I didn't do any of it. Like, man, I feel bad.
For like personally, I obviously didn't know to take it. I didn't take it as this, and I actually like really excited because it like shows the journey that I've been on in the game. Like finally, and then like this is like the big, like one of the premier event like breaks, like winning this big thing, like really. Honestly, like after like just the Twitter traction, the YouTube traction, the amount of messages, the actual like 20 some people in my DMs asking me for the list, asking me for sideboard guides. I have 2 coaching opportunities this weekend. Yeah. I literally on tomorrow night, some dude is just like, I want 2 hours, just I want to talk about like your theory behind it and stuff like that. I'm gonna pay you, and I was just like. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like to think of like I've gone in like publicity enough where like people have like there to where they like somebody's just like, I'm gonna sit down and want you to I want you to coach me. And I was just like, damn, that was really like good for me. And then boy Eric, our local, hit me up. He's like, yo, you want to be on my podcast? And I was like, oh, of course, man. Like we're the boys. Like you're. So
it's interesting because you, Eric, as a local, I do want to say that I think the first time we ever seen something like that was in Indianapolis, the Calling Indianapolis, where somebody had approached you because of your tattoos. They seen your tattoos on a stream.
That's true.
Which was like the first taste of like somebody seeing, because you are a good player and you played Chain.
Yeah, I did
on that stream, and then you were playing Chain at that Calling. And Chain is a very, I love watching you. I play Chain. I love watching you play Chain because afterwards I have the benefit of getting to room with the guy and being friends with the guy. So I get to talk about things all the time. And be like, hey, this is what I saw. And a lot of times you're like, yeah, I saw it. And then other times I'm like, well, what about this? And you're like, well, I saw, this is what I was going to do, da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So that way when I play, I can emulate those things. Because that's the thing about Flesh and Blood. Yeah. You can miss stuff.
You can.
That could cost you the game.
Yeah.
So Peter is the battle-hardened Dallas winner.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your matchups. You went, was it 5-1 in Swiss?
5-2.
5-2. Well, we were...
The last round didn't matter.
Yeah, you were in. Yeah.
Everybody that was like the top 4 tables was in. And so we just had to play there were 7 rounds, right? You just had to play the round. I believe we had that awkward number to where there could have been there's the 2 undefeateds, but there's the awkward like actual people number to where there could have been another X1 to where that last round actually did matter.
Yeah.
It just happened. It just happened to like that dude like that the statistical where like that person just like lost and they didn't because when you play, it's like the 17 round tournament that you play at a local and stuff like that, and it's 5 rounds instead of 4 now. And then it's because that one person could technically be still the undefeated. Yeah. So, the last one didn't matter, but like technically 5-2, and then obviously 1 in top 8. So,
so let's go into your first couple of matchups. Mm-hmm. You started off, what was your first opponent?
I played the Mirror. I played the Mirror in round 1. He was playing... every single person I've played in the Mirror plays Masco Momentum Flamescale Furnace against me.
We think is wrong. And if you want to know why, watch the deck tech that's listed below.
Watch the deck tech. A little preface to that is like, I don't think the game will last as long as to get the value off Masco Momentum and Flamescale Furnace.
Correct.
If I'm playing Lynx Blossom.
Correct.
If I'm playing Lynx and Blossom and allowed to like have my big combo turn on turn 2, turn 3 of the game, I don't have time for Tunic. I don't have time to cure the value that's going to make Masco Momentum better than Lynx. And there's just easy setup for me to block 3 sometimes on like a 0 for 3 that has a Masco Momentum trigger, and then you can't threaten another mask, right? Because the people that are playing Masco Momentum and Flamescale Furnace, usually block a little bit more than the decks that are more all in like us.
Yeah.
So they're coming in with 3 card hands instead of 4 or 5 card hands like we are. So there's a little bit less. If you block one time, they're not going to be able to get the Master Trigger a second time, and then you can come in with a 3 or 4 card hand, and then have the tempo back, take a Mask Momentum hit the next turn, and then really come in with another big hit. I think the math just works out better.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened to this guy. I believe. I think this is the one I lost the die roll, and he actually put me to go first,
which is a mistake.
Which I think the math. I've heard different math, but the math checks out for Mask Momentum math, but not Link's math.
Yeah, Link's math we want to arsenal.
Link's math is you want to go first in the mirror in CC, but I know a lot of people's theory is going second in the mirror in CC because like how the math works out. But so Link's math is better if you go first, and Mask Momentum math is better if you go second. So he puts me on the play. I do like 4 damage to him on turn 0 in Arsenal Art of War, and then I just draw like
the goods.
I drew like I think it was like it wasn't. This wasn't the game with second Art of War, but this was like Art of War. Like I think it was like a Spreading Flames, and then I had 2 finishers, and it was just like the game was over. Like I looked at that hand, and I looked at the 4 card hand and like the Art of War and Arsenal, and I was like, this man could literally almost 40 damage me here. He did 38 me, and I think I kill him in the next turn.
I will say, when you talk about going first and going, I had somebody, and this was at the Calling Charlotte, which I finished day 1 in 5th place. I just want to put out there. It's not going to be on my obituary when I win something, but in my Fi mirror, he said he wanted to go second because he wanted to strip cards out of my hand, and I chuckled. I said, "Bro, I'm not blocking."
Yeah, I'm not blocking.
I've set up this Arsenal 5 card hand, and I, in that matchup, had drawn the Belittle with the Art of War Arsenal, and was like, "We're going to town, boys!" Pop, blossom, and go. Okay, so the Fi mirror, and then second matchup.
I played against Dromai. That was an absolute buy.
That's a buy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my draws were just like above average in that game, anyways. And then that game, I drew 4 cards in one turn one time. So I Soaring Striked, banished a Snatch, got to a chain to where like Snatch also hit. I drew a card. I hit his dragon with Mask Momentum. I drew a card. I played another red Snatch. Snapdragon drew a card, and then like attacked twice. Like popped links for double strike.
We can't links and.
Oh no! That's a different
mask.
No, Mask.
I think you drew 3 cards.
So it was Snatch, Red Snatch, because Red Snatch was Soaring Snipe, regular Red Snatch with Snapdragon Scalers, the Mask Momentum trigger. Then I ended the chain with Blue Snatch into the 4 attack with 2 health, Kylori, the one that steals an item.
Oh yeah. Kylori,
Blue Snatch into that one and arsenaling the last card into Arsenal.
Yeah,
and that card was Art of War, and then I killed him the next turn.
Yeah, because you told me you had drawn the Blue Snatch off the Momentum trigger.
Blue Snatch off the Momentum trigger, kill your other dragon, and then get to Arsenal another card. And the dude just looks at me, and I have like 9 cards in the chain, and he just looks at me. He's like, and he has like 0 cards in hand. He like full block 2, and like took like 10. And then goes off, and then I like start off the next turn with Art of War, and he just goes, yeah.
So again, back in going back to the Calling Charlotte against a Dromai player, I had he at one time he placed 3 dragons in a turn, and I spent the turn. I had a really mediocre hand. It was like okay, and I just cleared the dragons. He's like, and I get a mass trigger and all that stuff. I get the Arsenal, the mass card, and he said something like, "Oh, you just saved me X amount of life," and I was like, I didn't say it to him, but I'm like, I was more than happy to donate this mid-hand to clearing your board, eating whatever you're going to do, because now this hand
is so much better.
Yeah, so Matt, the Dromai...
No, that game was crazy. Actually, shout out to that Dromai guy. I played him both days, Saturday and Sunday. He was playing Dromai in CC and in Blitz.
Was he on the all-red line in Blitz?
He was on like the more of a... he had blues, but he was like mostly red line. Because, I'll Dromai this or that. I unfortunately rolled him both days, and I'm sorry. Yeah. And it was like both hand like that. I played Jane obviously on Sunday. Like we'll lead to that later, but like I rolled him both games, and I felt so bad because like the dude was super nice, and we had a great conversation on both, and I was like, oh man, this guy is so nice, and then I just like 3 turn rolled him, and I was like. I'm like, why do I feel bad for winning this game?
All right, so you went Fi, Dromai, then
I think
you played Islander in the third round.
No. This is the Fi. This is the second time I played Fi. I lost this round. Yeah, I lost this round. I don't know what the key elements was on this one. Oh, I didn't draw Art of War, and he drew 2 Art of Wars. Yeah. And there was also another turn. He drew Art of War, and then I took all of it and did my, like, 24 damage turn. I had, like, a small combo turn. It was, like, 24 damage. And then he came back with, like, Spreading Flames, and then he Art of War, and then I, like, survived at, like, 4. Oh, I had the opportunity to survive at 4 and then win the game. And I drew my hand, and I had, like, double Lava Vein, and then double Blaze Headlong, and I already popped Snaps. So I just blocked for 6. Came with Blaze, Arsenal the other Blaze, and then I died.
Yeah.
So like, I think I went to 10, but I died because he had just had a good turn the following turn, and I had full 2s, and it just that one was unfortunate. But the guy was nice, and I was just like cool. And then round 4, I played against Icelander.
Yeah, that's.
This was actually the most interesting game I've ever played against. Oh, this is the second most interesting game because the other one happened in Swiss. This tournament as well. He played Channel Bleak Expanse like multiple times, and most of the times we just literally had to call the judge because we didn't know how the interaction worked. I played Double Strike, and then he Channel Bleaked, and then we had to ask if I could still if it was revealing a card or like that, and I could still play Double Strike because it's not doing any of those things. Later down the line, I play like Art of War with like +1/+1 banish draw 2, and then in response he plays Channel Bleak, and then I don't banish to draw the 2 cards because it's a May ability, and then he was like, you can do that, and then we had to call a judge for that one, like, and then there was like another judge call up to where it's just like the weirdest interaction that I don't think I've never seen. I forgot this one. I was just like, this game is so wild.
But and you got it. You links.
Yes.
You links.
I link. There was a turn that he just like. He blew Mirror Disco to me from Arsenal, and I just like look at my hand and I'm like, oh, he literally dies from 33 here.
Yeah.
That was the game where I hit with Soaring Strike, banished Lava Burst, had Assault from Arsenal, and still popped Links. So I went triple endgame finisher against him on one turn, and he died at 33. And I was like, I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, Soaring Strike, banishing a finisher is busted, especially if you've Arsenaled a finisher.
Yes.
Man, the Soaring Strike blue with a finisher in hand and then another like head jab with a finisher and you just still have mask is so crippling because you can just be like
it's so
finisher with go again.
It's so much.
Pop mask to go get another finisher, hit that, snaps that one, then play from the arsenal and you're just presenting like 6, 7, 8 or 5, 6, 7 or 5, 7, 7. It's ridiculous.
I don't blame anybody for not fully blocking Soaring Strike either because like 90% of the Fi deck is go again, natural. Like the literally only time you get punished is like
if they have
8-9 cards in the entire deck, right?
Yeah, but so they always have it.
Which they always have it. They always have it.
We play Soaring when we play as 5 players. When we play Soaring Strike, it's because it's advantageous to us. Okay, so then you had Icelander. Sorry, I'll continue to butcher that name. And then your 5th round matchup.
So I was 3-1. I think I played Briar this round. Yeah, I played Briar on round 5, right? Yeah, rounds 5, Briar. But it was Briar. Obviously, Briar's just like a really good matchup. It's the reason why this deck is very good because Briar is like the next best aggro deck in the format, right? So like 5's good matchups are like I think you're favored into Icelander. With like especially like the build that we have. Oldham's supposed to be... Yeah, Epod's an all-star. I talked very highly of Epod in the deck tech. Oldham's actually like a 50... Like, at least an even matchup to an Avantasia matchup if you play it correctly. How many times you've played the matchup with good players back and forth.
Yeah.
You're... Like, Briar's really good too. Dromai's really good. Like, you have so many good matchups... Like, even to good matchups,
so
right?
I want to talk about the Oldham thing. Because I think now with the ban on Pulse... and the Oldham's focusing more on an aggro build. It's not as... trust me, they can... Oldham can high roll you, but it's not as consistent as being aggressive, so they're blocking less than they would in the Fatigue, the other versions, or they're trying to set up a late game. And because of that, you can just go off. They are trying to present like choke slams back or maybe CNC pummel or something like that. And I think that puts them at a disadvantage that they didn't have the way the deck was built prior to the Pulse build, where they could set up the Oak fuses. They could, the only tool they have now is like the Ice React.
Yeah,
and it's pretty easy to play around that.
Ice React is really good though.
It's good.
It's very good. Innately, usually the Ice card is going to be a 2-block, and it's usually taking 3 out of your hand. Yeah. So it's ever changing.
I like they take it early, right? When they do it and they don't know I had a double blue, and I get to put the blue on the top and be like, I'm drawing a blue next turn.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thanks, boys.
So obviously, one against the Briar in round 5, so I put myself at 4-1.
Yep.
And then round 6, I played our homie Kenny. It was unfortunate because we were both X1 going to this round. He just lost his last round, and I was coming up from losing in round 3. And literally the only person I didn't want to play, at that point I was like, I don't even care if I play the Ice Lexi at the top tables. I just didn't want to play the homie. Unfortunately, gets paired into him. I won that matchup. This game I want to actually highlight because I go second, so he is on the play. He arsenals a brain freeze, and then I do an attack, and then he brain freezes me, and he sees blue pitch another attack because I attacked with a 0 for 3. He sees blue pitch, double strike, and Art of War. And so he puts double strike on top and leaves me with the blue pitch. So I'm just gonna sword Phoenix Flame him and then Arsenal the Art of War. So I do that. He blocked with one or two with one card, and then he fuses an Aether on his turn and shows me Channel. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then so I pitch a blue and AB1 don't discard because I paid the extra 2. And then I know he has Channel in Arsenal, and we played 4 to 5 turns in just I have my best card in my arsenal. You have your best card against me in your arsenal.
Yeah.
And both of us didn't play our arsenal for 5 turns. In of those 5 turns, he plays Insidious Chill, blocks a whole bunch of my cards. He played a Wounding Blow, and he played a second Channel from his hand. And this one went to 2 counters after because he overpitched Bull, and other stuff. And it was just this game was wild. Right?
Yeah.
And I was I'm fighting through so much disruption. I think I went to 23 before I had an actual turn. And then it didn't disrupt me. And then I see a double blue hand with double red. And I'm we're going for it. You know, I have Art of War and Arsenal. I come in with my 0 for 3. And then there's he attempts to play Channel from Arsenal. And then I'm in response, play Art of War and just draw another blue, so I have triple blue and then another red, and I just get to go through my entire chain, and Phoenix Flamed and Sword and another attack, a blue attack, and get to pitch double blue that turn. And I that was the turn I really turned the corner because he full blocked with his hand. He didn't have an ice card in his hand, so he just plays Channel to try to disruption on that turn. And then Arsenal's blue Emeritus Scolding. And then the following turn, I just have my Pouncing Link's turn. And then he just goes to 4. And then I go to 18 off of it, 16 to 18. And I have an E-Pot on the field. And then it was the game was over. I popped E-Pot to not discard a card. And my 3-card hand forced his entire hand. And then I just won on my turn.
Yeah.
And I was that game was wild because it was just showing that we played with our best cards in our arsenal, and it was playing chicken for the entire game, or played until somebody just had a hand that was unplayable. And then I was trying to yo, I need to draw my double blue, and I can play through Channel with Art of War, and it's fine.
Yeah, so it is unfortunate that you had to play a homie. We all travel, and then you had to play a Vegas homie.
It's true.
And then you go into the last round. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, last round doesn't matter. I played against Dory. I actually I didn't practice the Dory 5 matchup.
I will tell you soon here all about the Dory matchup and my thoughts going afterwards.
I played it for the first time. Obviously, she top 8'd, and I was playing, and this game was actually really interesting. I had some good sync blow from Arsenals. I didn't get I full blocked on the +1 and
the glistening turn.
The glistening turn, and I didn't get punished from the twinning blade, and I was thank God, you know.
I
and then
get and
the game was going pretty well. I ended up like bringing her down to like 2, and then I like blocked for like 4, and then she had like the pump over, and I died, and I was like, it's fine. Matchup was really close. It was closer than I expected because leading into this, I believe that people were talking about how like Dory races Fi, but I only played the matchup one time with like another local, and I won it. And I didn't give me like the best response because like I just like comboed like on turn 2, and then it was like fine. And this game like really showed me like I could win against like experienced stories with Fi, like not even having that much experience. And I think if I played the game like 5 times over, I think I have
to
like
play a bunch of that.
Yeah, we're gonna play a bunch of it going into Worlds because I think I know like at least one of the
Josh Lau is
gonna bring it, and like there has to be some people that are crazy enough to bring it into an Oldham meta, and I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. Lost that round, and then we go into top 8.
So before you continue, I just want to point out, top 8 starts. We gotta wait for deck checks, whatever. Everyone's talking. We'll talk about the community.
Yeah.
And then when the games start, I was doing something. Peter's playing his matchup. I didn't even really do much. Next thing I know, Pete's like, I was like, oh, you win? He's like, yeah, I won both matchups. I'm waiting. They're still on. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I won this one and the other one. I'm already in the final.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What happened, bro? This like 10 minutes went by.
It was very fast.
You played Ice Lexi in the first, right?
I go to the quarters, and I go into 7th seed. I just make it in, and the Ice Lexi player lost the last round to Briar, and so he's the 2nd seed because he lost the last round as the undefeated player, and I'm the 7th, and I'm like, oh man, I won my RTN to make to nationals playing Ice Lexi in a field of Fi and Runeblades, and I was like, I know how this matchup goes from the other side, and so I kind of have like the theory of like where I need to block and where I need to not block, but I've never actually done it with Fi because I've never played this matchup, and from like the Fi's perspective, and I was like, oh man, I had to play this in top 8 like first round, and I was like. And then we were like, oh, we're gonna get barbecue, and I was like, don't worry, this will take like an hour. Like this might take an hour, but I'll get barbecue with everybody, and like the game just went perfectly to where every chance I took of, every time he would like the 1 for 5 that makes you discard a card if it's fused. Every time I bet, I was like, there's no way you're gonna attack 3 times this turn, and I just like pitched a blue and just like paid the one, and then just had actually a decent turn to trade damage. It just worked out every single time. Yeah. And I had a good sink below with Flamescale Furnace from Arsenal play that like made it so I didn't have to like discard a card on 1 turn. And then the turn that really decided, he was at like 28 and I was at like 30 something. I had a little bit of life lead because he took a lot of damage to play like to Arsenal Red Arctic and then play Red Arctic the next turn and try to lock me out of the game, and I had like double blue to get out of it because I had to take a whole bunch of damage to like not be in the Arctic lock, right?
Yeah,
if you full block and they show you Arctic,
they just keep it there.
You just keep it there, and then you're just like full blocking for the rest of the game. So you just like immediately need to take a whole bunch of damage and then force them to play Arctic so that you can attempt to get out of it, right? Because if you just leave Arctic there, you just lose the game. I took like 8 damage, and then the following turn he comes on like Bolt and Shot for like red, and I'm like, I'm gonna take 5, and then he just goes Bolt and Shot, and I'm just and he has like 0 cards in hand, and I go, oh, you just die here.
Yeah.
And I just like, he's at like 28, and I'm just like, okay, take it. 5 card hand pop mask went in. He like full boxes his hand, goes to 4, and then I like, when you go to 4 versus 5 and you full block with your hand and you're letting them draw a 4 card hand, you just die.
I think the numbers in my mind from my play, and I play a bunch of 5. I think the number is 8. If you go to sub 8, and my reasoning behind is because Lava Burst is 5.
That's true.
So Sword and Lava Burst is the 8 damage because that leaves 2 other cards because the blue pitch is going to pay for the sword. So you're going to have 2 other cards and a Flamescale Furnace that are going to leak the damage.
That makes sense.
So if you block the sword and the Lava Burst, with armor or a card or whatever, you still have another attack and another Phoenix Flame and another attack potentially that you will leak through, or you'll take cards out of your hand. And if you are playing a game where you are not disrupting Phi and you are letting them attack and you're blocking out, you will leak damage to the Phoenix Flame at least, or they will draw Blaze Headlong or an Art of War, and then they will just go over the top.
They'll find one of the key cards, and then you just...
So my number is 8. Yeah. Your guys' experience might be different, but I think if I can get somebody under 8, in fact, a lot of times when I am trying to mask, my reasoning is, can I get them into 8? If I can get them to 6, 7, 8, somewhere, if they go lower, great. But if I get them there, I'm like, okay, I'm in control. I'll take the risk. And it's paid off pretty well for me. Yeah. So, you beat Lexi.
Beat Lexi, I was like, yo, that's wild. And, like, immediately I finished my game, and, like, a judge come over and like asked like who won, and I was like, oh, I won. And then they're like, hey, the match that was next to us was our side of the bracket, and it was like a Briarmere, I believe. Yeah. And he just like looks at me and he goes, hey, no, the Briarmere is on the other side. It was like Briar versus the other Phi, and the Briar won, and the judge is like, hey, this is your side of the bracket if you guys just want to play your game. So I'm like, I just scoop my mat over and just immediately just like sideboard out the cards I would for Lexi, and like just put the equipment in for Briar. He gets to choose for a second because he's the higher seed. Chooses me to go first. That's wrong. Yeah. I'm just saying the big thing is, especially with Briar, your win con in that matchup, and win con in a lot of matchup, is playing Channel. And the amount of times, and getting the 5-card hand Arsenal, the amount of times I see people not understand they're like, I'm an aggro deck, I want to go second because like to strip cards and other things. Like, that theory is dumb in the aggro matchup because you're both of you are not blocking. So like you're not blocking, and like you're very few times blocking. In the Briar Phi matchup, the only people that are blocking is the Briar, right? It's not the Phi is just not gonna block out. He, like, if you play Force Channel, like, I just die. Yeah. Like I'm fine with that. Like, I have to bet that you only have one attack or like something like that. Like, if you play Force Channel like as Phi, I just look at it and I'm just like, damn, this game's gonna be hard, or like I lost, you know, like it's fine. Like that's the 10-20% Briar has versus Phi, is like you finding that specific combination. So like he lets me go first, and I just like leak 6 damage Arsenal Art of War, and then like draw Belittle with like 3 other reds, and I'm like, okay, cool, I get a pop Blossom, play Belittle, Art of War, and then just keep going, and like the game was 3 turns. Yeah. And I was just like, I leak 6 damage. Art of War turned, and then the following turn, I had like double Blaze Headlong, like 1-cost sword, and he just died. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, so my quarters and my semis was like 20 minutes max.
Yeah, it
like
wasn't 20 minutes. It wasn't 20 minutes. I can tell you from an outside perspective, it wasn't 20 minutes, guys.
It was like 20. I think it was around 20 minutes, right? I look over, quarterfinals are still playing. Both quarterfinals. Yeah. From the other 2 games are still playing. You had a Dory versus Oldham. You had the Dory versus Michael Fang. Dory versus Michael Fang. And then the Briarmere on the other side. I guess the Briarmere had an IP call because of deck registration, and it had like this big like 5 to 10 minute judge call. So like that took extra time. You guys end up like being like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the hotel room. And like do stuff. And like I was like, yeah, I'll just text you. Like, you guys are gonna hang out, maybe play some Blitz. And you were like gonna text me when like I was about to play, and like I'm sitting there and just like watch this like wild Dory Oldham game. Like, there's no way I thought like Michael Finn was ever gonna lose this game, because like he just like draws up, he has like triple blue red pummel, and I'm just like, oh man, this is the turn. Like the Dory's on 2, doesn't have armor, like he got this, right? And he's at 8, and the Dory is like has 2-card hand, except for like a Tunic on 3, and that's like the only equipment she has left in the game. Pitches the blue, comes with a Dawnblade for 3, is holding red overpower in her hand. He just looks and he's like, yeah, block Macho for like 3, I'm at 8, who cares? She just like red, like Tunic counter red overpowers. He goes to 2, he's like, well, I probably win the game anyways. I have double blue pitch pummel, right? And I'm just like, oh yeah, man, he got it. Like, blue pitch comes in with whale. And then she's like, no blocks, go to reaction, like Steel Blade shunts. And I'm like, damn, he's going to 1 and stuff like that. And he goes, he's like, oh man, and she just goes Steel Blade Chun, and I'm like, everybody's just like, yo, there's she like screams and stuff like that, and like everybody's like, oh my god, this is not actually really happening. Microphone goes, yeah. I just like looked at Peggy, just like, how am I supposed to play around that? You know, like the sequence of draws there is just like, all right, cool. And then like one of the Briars won, obviously. Then I had to watch like the Dory Briar game. Briar ends up taking it, and then he
texts me.
I text you,
and I come back, and
we're still
the Dory Briar game. He goes, the Dory Briar game's over. Briar's gonna win.
Yeah.
I walked from the hotel, not even our hotel. Our hotel was really close.
Yeah.
The homies' hotel was a little bit further down the
10
street.
Minutes.
Yeah. I get there, and the Dory Briar game's still on. I'm not upset at Peter, but I'm just like, bro, you said this game was over.
It was. It was like 26-5, and like the Briar gets to like arsenal a card, goes to a 5-card hand. There was an embodiment trigger that was missed, which I'm not gonna go into the detail of that. It was missed, but it was I was like, that judge call has to be wrong, but it was like the Dory's playing to her outs, which is playing to your opponent missing embodiments or not correctly saying that you have an embodiment.
Correct, yeah.
Whatever it is, and the game just like keeps going, and I'm just like, Sean, you walk in and we both like have to watch this game for an extra like 5-6 minutes, and I'm like, this game's been over for like 4 board turns, and then he finally like draws like 3rd channel and just like kills her, and I was like, all right, go back. And so I play this Briar in the finals. We get deck checked again because the Dory opponent asked to deck check the opponent, right? Whatever is a sleeve problem that maybe they saw or something like that, right? Who cares? So we get deck check again, so we have to wait even longer. We're
waiting for barbecue. Let's just put it this way. We're waiting for barbecue, bro. We're trying
Let me tell you, from the time my semifinals finished and me to play finals was 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Like, that's how long I had to, like, after finishing my games and having to wait for the finals was 2.5 hours. Obviously, it happens and stuff like that. He used another IP warning because he wrote something wrong on his...
He wrote lightning strike.
Like, lightning strike instead of lightning press. It's an IP2. I guess they didn't find it when the first time they got deck checked. They were kind of rushing through it, which is fine. Like they were trying to get top 8 to start because it was kind of getting late. They find it in this one, and they give them IP2.
Then we have a judge call about how IP2 works.
Yes,
Peter gets to go first.
Okay, so they actually changed the rules on IPs because it used to be really advantageous if you go first. They changed it some time ago, but I forgot the interaction because it has never come up for me specifically, or I haven't seen it in a while. My question that I had was, he had an IP2, and I was like, if I just Arsenal and pass, does it tick down technically because he's drawing up on the end of the turn? And in old rulings, you could full attack and Arsenal a card, and he could draw 3 cards, and he still say he full blocks and he draws 3. And he still wouldn't tick down until the end of your turn. It was the end of the turn. But now the IP works is whenever you would draw up. So I come in with like 3 attacks, Arsenal a card. He blocks with 1 card and like leaks like 6 damage.
Peter gave me a side glance when he only blocked with 1 card.
Because I was like, the only reason you could block with 1 card to keep the other channel. 2 was in my mind was like blue pitch channel and then hope you draw an attack off the top, right?
Or draw
hopefully like draw 3 and have a good channel turn. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh man, this man's really betting on an IP2 like leaking like 5 damage turn 0 when he could have blocked. And then the only other case for you to keep two cards in your hand,
Amulet of Earth, go. Man, that's such a feel-bad hand.
So feel-bad. And the worst part was he actually technically missed the lightning token. And he just like looks at me and he's like, can I get the lightning?
Peter's like, yeah, fam, go ahead.
He's like, can I get the lightning about it? And I look at my Arsenal, like, Art of War, and just like this turn there's just like 35 damage. Like, If he like at worst, if I draw double blue, it's like 35, right? And I'm just like, I just feel bad for this kid, right? Yeah. It's like he has an IP2 in the finals.
Second time to get in the top 8.
Second time he's in the top 8, he gets an IP2. You know, like he's just like, I'm like, have your embodiment in Arsenal card. Like, I just feel bad at this point. Like, cause just the making top 8, and I think this is the first time he ever made a top 8 as a major event as well. And he's like playing in the finals. I'm pretty sure he's like decently new to Briar as well. He was talking about like before and like after the match. And, like, I just have this, like, insane combo turn, like, everything my deck's supposed to do in this matchup, which is, like, a bad matchup for him. I'm like, yeah, take your, like, Arsenals. I just present this, like, 9 wide turn. I pop, I draw a double finisher, so I pop links to get double strike, to get double strike.
Because you do salt.
Yeah, then boom, boom. He just goes to, like, 3. And, like, on turn, he comes in with, like, 0 for 4, like 0 for 4, and just like passes, and then I just kill him. And I was like the game was 5 minutes, and like that head judge, shout out Amanda, by the way, like she's such a nice lady. I see her at every one of these events judging and stuff like that. Like always really good to have her on the judging team. She goes, damn, that was fast. And I was like, I always finish fast. Yeah. And then obviously go take the photo, like we're super hyped and everything. We go get barbecue, dude. Son. I'm not like a big fan of barbecue.
Don't get me wrong. Texas barbecue.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big ribs dude, because I've had some pretty bad ribs in my life, and it's just like not my thing. And like brisket, like I like me a good brisket, but sometimes people make brisket. I'm like, hey, you should be making brisket. Like you don't have the qualifications. And yo, we go to this barbecue place, and you know it's about to slap when the line to get in the door is outside, and they got a grill. The grill they got outside. The big smoker and stuff like that. He's making it fresh right there in front of you. It's like a cafeteria line. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like just a cafeteria line. You just like asking thing, and like I won, right? So I just ordered everything that looked good. Like I was like, I don't care how much money I'm about to spend. I'm anything that I see that's good, I'm just putting on my plate.
It all. Oh, we got that mud pie dessert, bro.
Like I got like
Peter does that when he wins. I just do that with food. I'm just like, give me what I want, man.
I just get like these sausages. I get these like bacon wrapped like chicken.
Yeah, the bacon wrapped chicken.
We were just like kept going like there was jalapeno like bread bun. Like there was just like mac and cheese. There's like these mud pies. We're just feasting out here.
Jalapeno corn. Bro.
Oh my god! Every single thing that looked good from like that whole line that we were in, I just put on my plate. I think I spent $67 at this place, like for me. Like, and I'm like, yo, cool. I eat like 70% of it, and I'm in a food coma. I'm like literally like in the chair. There's no back to it. I'm sitting we're waiting for our Uber outside. I'm just sitting on the floor. Like I can't even stand straight because like I feel so heavy. I'm just like, I got like my to-go bag that has like, I still have chips and like half a meal that I would like normally eat just in this box. And we're just like sitting on the floor in this parking lot waiting for our Uber. And like the Uber gets lost and we're just there for a long time.
We were there for way too long.
And like, I haven't opened my gold foil. It's like in the thing. We opened my gold foil in like the hotel room.
Yeah, we did the recording. That short should be coming up soon.
Yeah, and that was cool.
You gotta upload that. I gotta show.
Oh yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I teach Peter some Zoomer stuff. I don't have a boomer.
True. The YouTube stuff is a little weird. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that was the fastest I've ever fallen asleep traveling in my entire life. I plugged my phone in, and I like text goodnight to my girlfriend, and like was in the process. I think I was in the process of putting a YouTube video on, because I usually watch like 1 to 2 YouTube videos. It was like Worlds for League of Legends, so I was like, oh, I gotta watch how NA did, because I had no idea. And I'm like in the process of turning the first video on, and I think I fell asleep, and I'm just like out. Our alarm goes off for the morning, and like
hold on, let's not go to the next.
And I was like,
let's not go to the next day. Peter had a great first night. Let me tell you about my battle hardened experience. So that Phi Dory matchup, I played every Dory player that brought a Dory deck. The gem gods were not kind to me. There was a lot of Dories.
I looked at that pie chart, and I was like, there's a
Yeah, I played them all. I did play. Okay, so I will say I did play the Briar that Peter played in the final. He won. He had an insane channel turn. He had like back-to-back channel turns.
That man was drawing hot.
He had a Coax force, and one of them was a channel force turn, leading off with Coax after the embodiment. And I was like, man, I think I should block this. I was like, but I had a pretty decent hand and an Art of War arsenal. Then I was like, I think I can like race here, and then maybe channel doesn't stick around. That was the wrong mistake because whatever he drew off the Coax just made the turn ridiculous. But he was missing triggers, and so I want to say that to shout out to Donnie, he was in the final. But I had told him in that match about these triggers, about the new version of Briar, and I told him I was like, hey, you're playing a competitive event, people are gonna. You got to make sure you. I was like, I told him how I do it with any tokens. Yeah. Put the tokens out front and then use a dice so that way they're there. Your brain sees them. So when you've done something, you remember yourself. And he still has them tucked underneath. And that's part of the problem with triggers is that you have tokens to represent. Whether it's like Viscerai, you have Rune Chance, you keep them there, but. Like, if you're not looking at them, sometimes your brain will be like, oh, but if they're there, they don't have a counter on them. They can just be out there. You could use a dice to represent one embodiment trigger. Yeah. Your brain is like, oh, I get a green boy. That's what I call him. A green boy. If I play two non-attacks, I get a yellow boy. You know what I'm saying? But they're there. So you just put a dice on them to show that you have them. And I was trying to explain to him that.
Do you pay 2 into grasp and get a purpley boy?
You get a purpley boy. That's how it works, man. So those kind of things, I'm a big mental guy, and so I try to find tricks. Like I can't get lost because I'll make a visual scene on directions, and I'll know where I'm going because of the mental. So I try to get by saying green boy, yellow boy, purple boy. When I play Briar, it makes it easier for me to understand. And Quicken is a blue boy, just so you know. Just so we're clear,
it has to be a white boy.
No, it's not a white boy. It's a blue boy because I have mine in a blue sleeve. So that's how I do the Quicken. I understand that. But other than that matchup, I played an Islander. E-Pot is busted. I just dumped. I had a turn. My opening hand against the Islander. This is the only win I got. I got last place. There will be a last place deck tech coming out. Wait, I hung in there, bro.
Isn't the deck tech that we did? Is it the same deck that we did the deck tech for your 5?
Yes. It's already on. We'll just upload that. Upload that one. That's not a good deck. Rise up, 1 copy at the most. 2 is no good. Anyways, against the Islander player, I had an opening hand of like head jab, blue pitch, and Art of War and E-Pot. So I literally was like head jab, sword, flame, E-Pot, arsenal, the Art of War, and the game was never close after that. Like, he didn't leak any damage. He blocked all that out, but
that starts different.
I was just like, on the turn that I popped off with Mask, he tried to use Stormstriders to red Ethervein me, and I was just like, I'll take 5, pop the E-Pot, no discard, and just kept going.
It's so
my salt was for 10 on that turn because of the E-Pot. It was nuts. And he went to like 3 life. No cards I get to draw up. I was just I'm done. He did have a 1 turn in the game where he went with the Fyendale's Fighting Spirit.
The Fighting Spirit.
To gain a life. And after the game, I commented and I said, you probably could have just blocked with that card because he pitched an ice card to do it. He could have blocked with it and then arsenal the ice card. He could have had disruption. He chose not to disrupt and tried to like match the line, but it was no close. So, but other than that, I just played Dories. So I played Briar, Islander, and then all the Dories. Yeah. And I lost to every single Dory matchup. I tried Flame Scale Furnace and Sync. Mask of Momentum does not work against Dory because they just have too much armor. I tried blocking the glistening turns. I had one person twinning, glistening, whatever the card that gives +3 and go again if it hits. I saw every great Dory line you could see throughout that day. I got twinning bladed for an extra 8 damage. Boy, I got hit with a red overpower to lose the only matchup I could win. I was like, that's the Arsenal card? I'm thinking... Like, it's a go again, like they're going to keep... No. Nope, I'm like, I'll block. Yeah, I had blocked out. I had gotten rid of the counters, right? I had gotten rid of the counters. Come back with like a headlong, That was the last piece of armor I used. Was like Shuko. The rest of the cards come with Headlong, Arsenal card to try to take tempo away. He's like at 5, and I'm like at 2, and I'm like, okay, he's got a 1 card hand and Tunic and an Arsenal.
This is definitely a tale.
This is
definitely
done.
a tale of two different.
He pitches, swings with the sword for 3. I'm like, 1 block with this blue lava vein. We're good to go, boys.
We're good.
Overpower red. I'm like, oh my god. So I lost that. So my thoughts on the Dory matchup after losing to it, I think you just race. I think you just go Lynx Blossom, and you say screw armor. And I think if you put pressure, and we'll test this.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a gameplay video. And we'll test it. I think because the thing about Dory is, they block well in their hands, but if they're blocking with cards in their hands, their sword turns aren't that great. If they're not blocking because you were using armor or sinks or whatever, their hands just get exponentially better when they're keeping 3-card hands in Arsenal, 2-card hands in Arsenal, and then they get the supremacy turns and the glistening. So the way I look at it is, if you are playing the longer race where you're trying to block some, you're giving them more opportunities to draw the glistenings, draw the steel blade supremacies. Mm-hmm. So I would rather push after losing 5 matches, I would rather push the damage, because if they don't have cards in hand, those hands aren't as great. Like, if you can make them forced to be blocked with a glistening or a steel blade supremacy, you're winning. Mm-hmm. If you're playing like I call it a 2-2 game. It's not really a 2-2 game. It's like a 3-card hand or whatever. But they're going to be like, here's a glistening turn, or here's a steel blade supremacy. I draw a card if it hits. They always have a reprise card to pump. So if you block with a card from hand, and then you're like hoping to have a sink and flame scale, and even then they can go over the top. They still draw a card. Twinning blade is a busted card, especially if you've. That's what happened to me one time. I blocked out to get rid of counts, and he twinning bladed me. Good Lord, that sucks. That card's good. Yeah. So that's my opinions on the Dory matchup. I just wanted to play. I knew I was out after the second loss because I had lost the first round. I lost first round, won against Eiler in the second round, then lost to the Briar, and then after that I was like, okay, my day's done. I'll just play. And then I just played more Dory. So I played Dory round 1, then Islander, Briar, then Dory's.
I will not lie. After like 3 rounds,
I did play an Oldham. We got to talk about that.
I'm pretty sure every Dory that I saw was just the bottom table.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was in the Dory pool.
I feel like after round 3, I don't think there's like one Dory at the top tables, and every other Dory was at the bottom. Like I think the conversion rate of Dory was like, I think there was like one person that went like positive and everybody else went negative. I did not walk like how they had the table set up. Like the like first like 13 tables were like on, well, like 14 were on like the first one, and then like it went back to like another set, and then back in more sets. That whole first like 14, there was not a Dory. There was one Dory, and everybody else was like a different character. And then I walked through the snake that it had, and I didn't see a Dory for a long time. And I was like, damn, all the Dories on the bottom right now.
Where I was.
Yeah.
I was swimming in the Dory pool. So I gained some valuable experience. I might have lost. I might have finished with 1 win. But I gained some valuable experience because that is the only matchup that I consider like tough. Like, I know how to navigate the others. Well, now I feel like I can navigate. I'm just going to race. I'll play Lynx, Spring Blossom. Mm-hmm. I'll do my thing. And if it doesn't work out, I'd feel better if I at least tried. Yeah. Then, because the blocking thing does not work.
I think there's like a mix that you can do.
Yeah, we'll have to test it to find the right thing. But
I felt like my game with Flame Scale and putting Sync Blows in, and then I took Rises out, and I put E-Strikes in this matchup as well, and just to like have a higher three block count.
Yeah.
It felt like there was turns where I needed to block, or there was excess cards in my hand and I could block, and I bet a lot of times where like they kept like a 2-card hand after blocking a little bit on me, and they were like Dawnblade for 3, and I was like, I'm just gonna take it and just like hope that it's not like something really good on like the card. And they're like, oh, I'm not gonna pop boots, like just take 3 Arsenal card. And I was like, all right. I was like, that's really good for me. And then just like I was like, okay, I can come back into this game. And I think there's like turns like that to where the Dory cards are like really redundant, but there's like Reprise is still really good, and if you don't block Reprise and they don't draw the cards that punish you for not blocking, like it is really good. And then obviously if my opponent's playing like the +2, you draw a card if you hit. I'm probably blocking that one. I'm
so
probably blocking that one. Like or the glistening, I'm probably blocking that one.
The original Dory, like before Dory got the what was it? The classic battles came out with glistening. Yeah. The old Dory, Dawnblade Dory, usually was like don't block the naked 3 and full block supremacy turns, and that is like a sound
aggro versus Dory
Dory matchup, right? I feel like if we do some testing, we can develop the pattern for Phi because you can't let glistening get them counters. No. That's how they win the game. And so I had tried that through the different matchups.
Unless you're going to put them in such a position to where you can't lose.
Right? Yeah, that's a different. Yeah, that's the same. We'll get this worked out.
If you're presenting lethal,
the glistening counter.
Who cares if they have counters in their glistening?
Yeah, but when they're at 37 life and you're at 16, it's going to be a bad race. So I was looking forward to barbecue. Let's just put it that way.
Barbecue good.
And Peter made me wait like an extra 3 hours because he had to win the thing. Well, shout outs to Peter. But we went to sleep. We woke up. We recorded the deck tech that's already up. I know a lot of you guys have watched it. Yeah, we recorded that morning, and then we did. We went to Blitz.
We did.
And I will just say that I started out with a Dory matchup. And I was playing fine. My weekend was like, go fuck yourself, Sean. Like. Excuse my language, but that's literally what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah. So what did you end in Blitz, by the way? It was like...
Bro, I don't even know. I had 2 wins.
Oh, yeah, all right.
No, I finished 3-3.
3-3.
I got a Utah dub. I got a bye.
Nice.
You lose enough, you do the hard work, you get the free wins.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you went in 3-3 in Blitz. My Blitz experience went a lot better than 3-3.
Yes.
So... Certainly in Blitz.
You played a good deck in Blitz. Phi is not good in
don't
Blitz.
Play. Phi is Living Legend, bro. Speaking of Living Legend now, Kano, my boy. I am a Wizard enjoyer. I love Kano. I increasingly try to keep playing him in CC when I don't need to be playing him in CC. Traditionally, I played Ira when I first started the game in Blitz and then when we came back to Blitz, I was like, oh, I'm going to play Kano because I want to learn how to play that deck, and just like instantly fell in love with the deck. Like, this is like Tales of Aria, like, this is like right when Everfest came out, and I'm playing like Kano and Blitz, like before the team Blitz calling, there's like a skirmish that was like,
skirmish
season, and I'm just playing Kano, and I'm like, yo, this deck is my favorite thing to play by far.
Yeah.
And I was just like, blasting people. And I've, like, always played Kano, like, the team Blitz calling and stuff like that. I went, like, X2 with Kano, and I was like, this is great. And I was like, I always want to play this character. Yeah. Then, the tragicness happened.
The Stormstriders banned.
They banned Stormstriders in Blitz. And I was devastated. There's that photo on Twitter of me in like, just at work in the back room, just, like...
Yeah.
Just, like, posted up. I cried. I was devastated.
So, I want to speak on that because they banned it.
I was devastated.
To limit Islander.
They did.
But they didn't. She's still there.
She's still good. I think they limited... Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fine change because you needed to take a little bit off of Iyslander, but in the process of taking a little bit off Iyslander, you killed Kano.
And like banning Lynx, you also just killed Phi completely.
Yeah. I think that's fine because in 20 health, having a 6 damage equipment is very good. But you know what else is really good? Of not having a 6 damage equipment. A 6 blocking equipment.
Yes.
You know who can play a 6 blocking equipment?
Leviah. Chain. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the actual
this
hero.
Boy, Chain. Chain, by far, one of my favorite characters in the game. Played him a lot in CC when he was legal, and was pretty excited. After I saw the banning, and I was just like, I just have to play Chain. I think it's just like the obvious thing. I added Eclipse into my chain list because there's obviously going to be a lot of Oldhim. I think Oldhim's really good in Blitz right now, and I think if you just play Oldhim, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's going to get targeted, but it's still really good. I was like, let me play Chain. I put Eclipse combo in there. I took my game to be like a little bit more of a pitch stack, like I can beat Fatigue Oldhim, and I ran with it. Round 1, I played against Rhinar. Traditionally a very good matchup for Chain because, your hand gets intimidated. And you block with Husk.
Yep. And then you keep your hand.
And then you keep your full hand. They probably took damage to present this big amount of turn. And you just get Soul Shackle value. And you just get to attack farther.
Yeah.
Game was not particularly close. Game kind of went long. My opponent was trying to set like set cards up, and he was like really thinking on like a second cycle, and I just had like really good hands, and I just told him that like he was kind of like slow playing, but it was just like it was fine. I was so far ahead that like I was like, you can take your time. I like you're friends with like one of my other friends, and I'm like, I'll let you have some time here. I don't think we're gonna go to time. I probably mill out in 2 turns anyways. Like, but you're just dead this turn, and it was like it's fine. Then I play Kasai, literally the worst deck in the game. I swear to God, I would play Data Doll before I have it. You could literally put a gun to my head and be like, you have to play Data Doll or Kasai at Worlds and stuff like that, and I would pick Data Doll 10 out of 10 times. It's not even a question to me that Kasai is by far the worst deck in Blitz, and I would play Saber's combo Bolton before it. That's when you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time somebody presents Kasai, I'm like, you were choosing to lose in this format.
I beat Kasai in Blitz.
You are choosing to lose the game. Yeah. Presenting Kasai in Blitz. And like, you have Dory. Yeah. Just play Dory. She's good in Blitz. Like, they actually have to block you because you don't have a lot of life. I played, obviously that's a buy. I mean, that's a buy for everybody. I play like some other intermatch. Oh, then this, I go to the triple Oldham in a row. So I'm a 2-0. Play triple Oldham. I win all 3 Oldham games by pitch stacking, playing Art of War and Revel turns, just like doing really well. I beat Brody, which is named dude. Nice kid, by the way. Nice kid. He's actually like he forgot to put Northern boots in. It didn't matter. He was probably even if he had AB, he would have died that game. I had creepers on 3, and I would have always had it on 3 because of like just like how the game went, and I like drew like Revel into Revel after 1 counter, and like it was fine, right? Like he was dying. I won during time, and then I go to my last match. I play Prism in round 6, so I'm 5-0. Play Prism round 6, beat the Prism. So the problem with playing Eclipse is you have to cut CNCs from Chain and Blitz, right? Yeah. So the only popper I have is Soul Reaping, right? Prism can really aggro you in that format if they know you're not running. If you're running Eclipse and not like CNCs, because then they're not. There's no fear of them getting popped, right? He didn't know I was playing what version I was playing until it was too late. Obviously, I used Husk to block like Red Herald. No, I never played an Air Edition. He just played Red Herald. He almost stalled me out by playing Arclight Sentinel on a big Shackle turn, like Shackle like 5. But had enough cards to finish it out, and he died. So 6-0 Swiss, feeling really good. Top 8ing the second event of this weekend here. Quarterfinals, I'm going to the 1 seed. Our homie Eric, which I'm gonna go on his podcast Friday morning and stuff like that. Love me some Eric. Moved from Dallas to Vegas like 6 months ago. Yeah, around 6 months ago. Great guy. We both qualified for Worlds off limited ELO. For a while, I was like the top rated ELO player in Vegas, and then he moved to Vegas, and then he was like 2 spots ahead of me, and I was molding for like 3 months. And then recently, I did really good at PT2, 5 winning my draft, and then he dropped places because he wasn't playing. And then he didn't play Nationals, and I 2-1 my draft at Nationals, and so now ahead of him. Very, very good for me. I retained my title of the best limited player in Vegas, and so it's good.
On ELO only.
On ELO.
I'm still better than you.
Easy, you know. We played actually a really close game. I missed 3 damage on like turn 2 by picking Go Again instead of +1/+1 in my ROR because I had already had like a couple of cards banished, and then like instantly got punished for it. Missed 3 damage and cost me the game because Eric lived at 3 and. Because he was able to set up. He was able to only block with 2 cards and have he like blocked with Crown, blocked with 2 cards, was able to have 3 cards in his hand to like Frostfang pummel me. Yeah. And like
only because he has the life total.
Only because he has the extra 3 life, which he wouldn't have by +1/+1 on that turn. Obviously, I have to block a decent amount on that turn, and I just don't have the cards to kill him from the life total that he was at. If he didn't do that play, just say like he like comes with like Glacial for like 8 or something, or like Glacial for 10. I block with my equipment. He just died the that following turn because it's just like the pitch stack.
Yeah, in fact, I think
I had the pitch stack Eclipse on that turn. And just like it was fine.
Yeah, so I was watching that, and I think you're right. him having the Frostfang pummel is his out there, and if he has any other attack.
If it was a normal attack,
I think you like one card equipment and block. If it's just any 8 to 10 regular attack, I think
if he has just like a regular 1 card plus like 1 card attack plus pummel, I can block with equipment and just take discard the 1 card and kill him with a 3-card hand plus the amount of cards I'm getting off of my banish.
Yeah.
But it was just specifically that it was Frostfang pummel, which he built his deck to beat aggro, and he did that in CC. He was trying to target the Fies, and he just brought that for Blitz because most people played the same deck like in both formats. I obviously can't. I was like, the Fi is unplayable in Blitz, so I played Chain, and it was my boy, which is a very great option if you understand how to do the pitched Eclipse cycle. But yeah, no, lost to him in quarters and stuff like that. It was a great game. Always great playing one of the homies. He's like really zerty. He played very well. He ended up losing to Brendan Patrick in semis, and then Brendan Patrick obviously ended up winning the event with Icelander, and it was great. The weekend was just super positive. Very good weekend for me. Obviously the big break and some of that. Obviously the amount of views on the video, the deck tech video, is actually insane.
Nice.
I gained like 150 Twitter followers.
He overlaps me.
I did.
Guys, I need you guys to go at Great Scipio and give me my title back, bro. Because I had a 5 follower. He was like showing me. I was like, I still got more followers. Then all of a sudden he's like, I got 160. I was like, bro, I only got 155.
I think I went from
follow me. I'm the guy you should follow. I'm the funny one.
I'm from 90 to 200 in 2 days.
Ridiculous.
It was good.
I do want to talk. So we talked about the Blitz. I played Dory's, and I finished 3-3. I beat the Kasai. I got a free victory off the bye.
Yep.
And I can't think of what I did. I don't even know what I played a Prism.
Oh.
Yeah, I played a Prism with Fi, and that's an easy matchup.
I was impressed.
So I do want to talk about the community, because there's something. I had a judge interaction with a player. The player picked up his arsenal and put it in his hand, shuffled the cards, and played a different card. I called the judge because it is a hidden card, hidden information error. The player lost his cool. I tried to remain my cool. He made comments like, "Oh, we're at the 1 in 5 tables." Very hostile. Amanda did a very good job of handling the situation. Shout out to Jimmy too, the other judge. And at that point, I had my day was already over, and I didn't want that player to have a bad experience. But it was very disheartening to me for someone that couldn't respect the fact that we're playing a competitive event. If this is an armory, hey man, we'll go back and whatever. But when you're clearly misplaying a card, and now you want to pummel because you realize that if you pitch it the other way, and you don't realize that until you actually that's why we play games. I just want to point out that was my only negative interaction. That's few and far between in Flesh and Blood. But the rest of the communities is amazing. We had Brandon, Yuanji, Michael Fang, Brody Spurlock was there, Matt McKennis, all the Vegas homies.
Yeah. It was really good. Flesh and Blood is one of the few games that I've actually played in my entire life that you can just approach these big name guys.
Yeah, we're big names now, by the way. So you can approach us.
Yeah, obviously, I am the most approachable. I will talk about literally anything at any time unless I'm busy with something, and I'll be like, hey, man, I actually have to go do something. But, there's people who are coming up to me, all especially on Sunday, they were like, hey, congrats on your thing. And they're just, asking me questions, and, they were talking about today, what I was playing, and they just had, good conversations, all around. Very approachable. If you want to come up to me, any event, literally do it. I'm always down to talk unless I'm literally need to go do something or have to use the restroom. Nothing gets in front of me in my restroom breaks, bro.
Yeah.
But that's but yeah, no, everybody's super super nice to talk with. I had a lot of great conversations with Michael Fang. This is actually the first time I talked to Michael Fang at a major event that we've both been at, and just welcoming arms all the way through. Cool. Obviously, I've talked to Brendan Patrick multiple times, a big fan of Arsenal Pass, and one of the first actual Patreon members. I was on the original video that they put the Patreon list on, and there's less than 10 people. My name's on there. Beautiful. I'm just saying, that's my boys. On that one, talked to Brendan Patrick a lot. He's just a great guy. Talked about his new tattoos and stuff like that. Yeah, obviously, I'm a big tattoo person. Yeah, we're both big tattoo persons. He got tattoos amazing.
Yes,
by the way.
Amazing.
Actually,
got it in Germany.
Got him in Germany. it was really cool just like be able to talk with like other things. You know, we had a good just like quality interactions with like a lot of people. Meeting Brody for the first time.
I talked to Brody a little bit before your guys' match.
That's a nice kid. Like,
he's a nice kid. Yeah, smart, very smart.
Very
kid.
smart. I'm a young guy. Like I'm 21, and I remember when I first started playing Magic, and I was 18. I could feel that, and I started playing, and there was like the group of like 24, 25-year-olds, and then there was like the OG people that were like 35, like 35 plus. And now being in the position of being like the 21, 22-year-old and like looking at like the 17, 18-year-olds that are playing the game, I'm like, it's like it's been like 4 or 5 years obviously from like when I started playing card games to like, and then looking back to me from like now, I was like, man, I like that's the drive, you know. It's the all you want to do is play the game. All you want to do is get better. All you want to do is play the game. The only thing you ever think about in your day-to-day life, like stress-free, all you care about is just like doing what you love. And like it's just great to see, you know. Like it brought me back from like obviously like when I first started playing playing games, and I was like the drive, the passion, you know, just the blind love for the game. And then like don't have to sweat the other stuff. Like I just see that in Brody, and it just like makes me so happy that like there's another like young person in the scene that is doing exceptionally well, that just loves the game.
Yeah, so like during the weekend, Sunday actually during the Battle Hardened, I talked to, or not the Battle Hardened, the Blitz, the Pro Tour Invitational is what it was. I talked to Yanji about the FI deck choice, and obviously we had recorded the deck tech in the morning, hadn't posted it yet. I was talking to him about there because Daniel Rakowski, Daniel got second place at the Nats with the FI list, and Yanji, they have that thing, and I was talking about our decisions over theirs, like we don't like Soul Beach Strike and so forth and whatever. And it was actually interesting because he wasn't like, and I find this very interesting, like in this game, and I playing Magic and other card games, you get players that are like, no, you're wrong. This is why. And he wasn't like, the players aren't like, oh, they're obviously you can make some bad deck choices. I'll have the last place deck list. But when you have like differences of opinion on a card choice that should or should not be, he was definitely like, oh yeah, we like Soul Beat for this reason. And I was like, oh, we like the Draconic attacks because they have go again, you want a brick on an Art of War turn. And like the conversation was very productive, and we were talking about sideboard choices of certain matchups, how they, like us, really like E-Strike and the Islander.
E-Strike's pretty good.
And we were just talking, and it's such a cool dude, Michael Fang as well, having chats. He reached out to one of the homies that we were talking afterwards. Like, everyone's done, the events are done, we're still sitting there talking like for an hour with all them. I do want to say the community is really good, so shout out to everyone that belongs to this community. If you're watching this video, I think you're a dope person. We're approachable. I'm super approachable.
We talk forever.
Yeah, I'm a comedian, dude. I'll crack jokes, and I want you to know that if I crack a joke, I'm doing it in a ha-ha way. That's my personality. I like to break the ice, things like that. So let's move on. So the Battle Hardened Dallas weekend was dope. We have some early Dynasty previews that have come out. I'm just going to touch base on them because we will do a video when Dynasty previews are there. We're going to give like card analysis and what we think limited, or not limited, limited selection choices. Like there's going to be cards that probably shouldn't go in CC decks and so forth. But right now we have a Ranger Bow that came out, and I'm not going to quote the names of these because there's only one that I care about that has a name. The Ranger Bow seems pretty cool. It basically lets Azalea live with a 5-card hand always because the top of the deck could be an arrow. We don't know what aim counters do. I am hoping that aim counters either require armor to block or won't allow armor to block, because then it could make Azalea actually an aggro deck where if it's got an aim counter, it can't block.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
so I'm
curious what the aim counter actually does. I hope it's something actually beneficial.
Yes, we want to see, because James said in New Jersey that we had to wait till October because people asked about Azalea, and he said wait till October, and here we get this bow, and we've got aim counters. There could be this mechanic that could help Azalea back in, because I'm not a Ranger player. But I love Rangers, Legolas, and anything. And I like the idea. Thematically, the way the mechanic works with the arsenal and limited amount of arrows. I like all that stuff. So if we can get something that gets Azalea into meta, that'll be happy. There's also the Warrior Axe, which has got Overpower, which is going to be a new mechanic that says you can only block with one action card. The Warrior Axe is a 3-pitch. It only gets Overpower if it's got double. So I think we're going to get more two-handed axe support, because right now the only Spill the Blood and the Shatter card
are the only cards right now. Ones that care about axes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then we have the new Ninja Chest, which is actually pretty dope. Could be the Fire Mirror Breaker. Blaze in your eye.
So going into it, I found out it was a Ninja Chest because they were like slowly spoiling the card throughout there. And personally, I'm actually disappointed about this card. Ninjas haven't had like such a spectacular chess piece throughout history. Katsu, like, obviously, like, only plays Tunic. Fi played, like, Flamescale Furnace, Blossom, Tunic, and it was, like, kind of, like, you had a lot of options in their chest because there was no, like, really best option, and I was hoping that Ninja was going to get a chest that was, like, clear and defined, like, this is how this type of Ninja deck wants to run. And I just, like, looked at the Ninja chest, and it was, like, Blade Break run, and I was like, oh, the ability has to be, because I... For some reason, read this card bottom up, and it was just like block for 1, Blade Break, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, that has to mean like the ability's pretty good, and then I just saw like
it's anti-rupture.
It's just like anti-rupture card. Like it was chain like 3 or
4 higher. It gets +4.
It gets plus like there, and I was just like,
it turns into a 5 block on a rupture block.
I just kind of looked at it, and I was like,
that's what I said. It might be like the Fire Ninja Mirror.
It's a card for a mirror, and like I understand, but I was like really hoping the first Ninja chest was going to be something that like clearly defined you in a position of a different type of ninja than me, or like a controlled ninja.
Yeah.
And it just like didn't happen, and I was just like, I just kind of looked at it, and I was like, all right.
Although in Blitz, it could give Katsu some room back in with. I won't speculate on what the Blitz meta will end up looking like because Worlds is going to define that. We're going to see some stuff at Worlds, but like I've always wanted to see Katsu back in Blitz and being able to come back because Ira is clearly the better ninja in Blitz. Okay, so that's that. And then the one that we care about is Rock. Super flavorful.
Bro.
The Brutes using a two-handed Rock is just nuts.
I saw this. And our homie, Phil,
yep.
The Vegas homie, is a good X Flesh and Blood X on YouTube. Shout him out. Spoils this card. And it's funny because he was giving us like teasers like in our group chat about like the Vegas group chat. Like the night before, then like passed out on his
passed out on his computer.
and then filmed the video and then posted it. Like it was the first time I saw it like in the morning because he passed out at night. Then I just went to bed. It's a Rock. It's ROK. It's ROK.
That's it.
Is the funny thing, and then it says subtype is the Rock ROCK, which is hilarious.
Yeah, which is great.
It's a two-handed Rock. It has like little handles and stuff like
that. It's got the blood stain.
The
letter that they wrote about how it's like they sent an emissary and just got beat up.
Dude,
with the Rock.
This is like the thematically like one of my favorite cards of all time already.
Yeah.
Of just too. Like brute having a Rock. Like and then I was thinking about it, right? And it's a very interesting ability. You know, attacks for 7 off of 3 resources.
7 unpreventable damage.
Unpreventable damage off of 3, which is amazing. But the clause is that you can't have any cards in your hand when you activate it. So you can't be like, swing with Rock, pitch my blue from my hand.
Yeah.
That doesn't work because of the text, right? So you need to have mana floating or gain more resources with 0 cards in your hand to attack with it, which you can do in a couple ways. You can overpitch for another attack and then use Tunic.
Yep.
The 1 card hand is you can use Deep Blue.
Yep.
And then attack for 7. Another thing I saw was just like more just like random talisman. It's like activate like a ignition, talisman thing.
Talisman of amulet of ignition.
Ammunition. There's like Epot. Rolling Thunder, Tunic into
so
Rock.
You blue pitch, roll any 1 cost attack or non-attack, you blue pitch, play it, then use Tunic resource, and then you get to come in with
I was just saying, like, all these, I saw a picture on Twitter and just, like, screenshotted it of, like, every interaction where you can use Rock and stuff like that, and I was just like, this is funny.
The secret,
I also think
there's
going to be another card.
Oh, yeah, there will be.
There has to be another card.
Definitely. I think the secret right now, I'm going to tell y'all right here on this video, is on a 3-card hand, or a 2-card hand, is to use, or maybe not 2-card hand, it's just use Seek Horizon. So Seek Horizon can go 4 go again if you place a card from your hand on top of your deck, which will limit the cards that are in your hand. And then you can 1-cost non-attack, use Tunic. So you can get these like 11 damage turns where you just like 4 go again into Rock for 7 is going to be play lines that you're going to see. I've also 1 cost, you're going to have Brandish. I love the idea that I can be like Brandish because I'm about to brandish my Rock. Like, you can either block this 3 or that Rock comes in for 8 because it's a 1 cost.
So
also think that was something that I thought was hilarious with the using the blue pitch and then Tunic when you've gun cards is to double barraging to intimidate 2 cards and then blue pitch and play bingo and let them let it block. They'd have to block it out, which you would obviously be okay with. You don't get to use the barragings, but when they block with 2 cards, it's like a 1 for 5 that takes 2 cards is amazing. If they block with 1, you're probably going to give it go again or draw a card. I think there's some interesting stuff with the 1 attacks. Like I said, I think Peter is right. I believe we may get a brute chest that lets you pitch your arsenal. I think we might see something that allows the arsenal to be pitched. Only for brute class, like it might be a new helmet.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that, and I'm speculating completely, is that the lore letter that came with it, it talked about the chieftain, and then in the Rhinar classic battles things, it talks about he meant like the chieftain of the brutes, and I could see like the chieftain's hat, his headpiece, allowing you to like basically like 4 block and then just be like pitch, because you wouldn't be able to do that in successive turns. Like if you 4 block for 12 and then use the headpiece, maybe it's only a one-time thing, right? And then getting to pitch your blue that you arsenaled like a sand sketch plan to swing with Rock could be something where if it's a multiple use thing where you have these lines where you're like every other turn you're getting to swing 3 for 7, could be a really thing. We could see the return of the Control Reiner again, which is a deck that I've always liked. When you're just blocking out and you're able to.
I just like seeing like more brute support. Like the class historically is just like not had a lot of like powerful cards. Like it's still just based out of Barraging Beatdown. Like it's by far your best card in anything, right? It's like Barraging Beatdown and Blood Rush Spell. I'm not sorry. Blood Rush is by far your best card. And then Barraging Beatdown is like your second best card in the game. And you just kind of like have a whole bunch of that mechanic as Rhinar, and then you try to set up like Alpha Rampage combos, and then like Leviathan, just rip Leviathan. Like the best thing in Leviathan is just Husk.
I just want to point out that if you have Blood Rush in Arsenal, a blue in hand, Tunic on 3, and 3 barragings, you go triple barraging. Oh no, you can't play Blood Rush because you have to discard a 6. I was trying to wait to see the Blood Rush the Rock, but that might be a little trickier.
Well, I saw like somebody was talking about you go like Blood Rush from Arsenal, and then use Deep Blue and attack for a number, like...
I just don't think... My thing is like, the way the deck would have to be built, it has to be big enough to be a threat.
It is fundamentally different, and I want to see what card is going to push us in the direction of you wanting to do that over Claws. Because Mandible Claws is just so good.
Yeah.
Because you just get attacked for like 5 and 5 and then come in with another attack off like these Blood Rush Spell turns.
So I was talking with one of the homies when the card was previewed with Phil as well, Fleshblood X on YouTube, about different things with Rock. And I said I'm going to run Cash Out, Knick-Knack, Brick-a-Back, Amulet of Ignition, E-Pots, Crazy Brews, and I'm literally done. I'm not even going to run. I'm going to run Deep Blue and then 3 pieces of equipment that I'm not going to use because I'm going to cash out, get rid of all those for some silver. Then I'm Knick-Knack, Brick-a-Rack, get rid of all that silver and go get 4 items on the board. And then we're just going to live with the Deep Blue. And I'm going to call it Crack Rock. That's the name of the deck. Right, it's going to be Crack Rock.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
So we got, I just want to, let us know down in the comments below what you guys think. Any content you would like to see, deck text, things like that. I will be putting a Final Fantasy deck tech up. My cards are here. I've built the deck. And then in the comments on that deck tech, you guys could always like tell me I'm horrible. Card choices, whatever. I built a mono fire deck. Peter is going to Pokemon Regionals this weekend.
I am, yeah. So it's Wednesday night, almost midnight right now, where we recorded this video because I had to work late tonight. I leave Friday morning for this regional. I am playing Palkia V-Star. It's the only deck I know how to play and have the most experience on, and so playing Palkia V-Star and just, having fun at Pokemon. Like, I'm not taking Pokemon, like, super seriously. It's, like, I'm going with a whole bunch of, just nice people that, like, play at the card shop and just, like, play Pokemon or play Magic casually. And there's, like, a good group of people and stuff like that. Like, one of my ex-coworkers is going, and, like, we're sharing a room, and just going with, like, a lot of swell people, you know? Like, just, like, going in there to really, realistically, just, like, actually just hang out and have fun and not, like, be, like, super involved. Like, this weekend, I'm not trying to spike a Pokemon regional.
Yeah.
I'm going to, hang out with people, get good dinner, have a couple, maybe have a couple drinks, just, have fun, like, hang out with people and experience a different community of a game and just do, hang out, you know?
And then there will be some Jank Tank videos that we will talk about. And these decks are these decks are not designed for, like, competitive play. They're designed to, like, if you want to go to Armory and have some fun, and you maybe you want to take the build and play Kasai or something. I have some I'm always a brewer. I brewed up. One of my favorite interactions in the game is with Viserai is to play Arknight Ascendancy into Pummel.
Yes.
It's an old school Viserai tactic.
Old school.
I also love Revel, or Rune Blood Barrier to give you 4 rune chance to block. Yep. I love the defense reaction that makes a rune chant. So there's some cool stuff that maybe get some Rune Blade support. I do like the Viserai version, the old combo version. I like it when you're like, I've got 12 rune chants.
Yeah.
Watch this busted stuff I do. One of my favorite cards in this game is Oath of the Arknight, or not Oath of the Arknight, Ninth Blade of the Blood Oath.
Oh, yeah, Ninth Blade.
When you can play a 9 attack for free with 9 rune chants, it just feels good. When you're just like, oh, triple block, and then attack for 9 for free, here's 9 and 9.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. So there's some stuff like that. We'll have some jank stuff that is really just for fun. And then when we come back, hopefully later on, we will have, more Dynasty previews. We'll have a Worlds prep because we got Worlds going to be coming up. Yep. Whether or not we actually go to Battle Hardened Columbus is still up in the air. We have a lot going on. But I want to say, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'm Sean.
This is Peter.
And this is PummelCast on Pummel the Homies.